at the pilot jet. Completely gunked up.
It's a little whip and rip.
What's going on, YouTube? We're Many Metal Fab. We're back with another video. I'm Brandon. Russ is back here behind our new project, KTM 85 2007 SX. This thing is gonna be sweet. We're gonna be building this thing up, fixing it, and ripping it around. It's our first two-stroke.
Starting off by draining out the old fuel. It's definitely not the prettiest.
No, it doesn't look great.
And we're about at the end.
So we're gonna drain out all the fuel. I washed the bike down before we started because it was really, really muddy. But it looks pretty good. We got a little dent in our pipe right here. A little jank right here on the pipe. I don't know if what it's supposed to be. Our rear brake does not work. Our front brake does work. Our clutch needs a return spring to keep it from falling forward. But the clutch also works. It's hydraulic. I'm probably gonna bleed out all of the brakes and get a rebuild kit for that so I can rebuild it. The bars are really bent because the previous owner hit a tree. So we'll be getting new bars for it as well. And new chain and sprockets as well because the sprockets and chain are pretty shot. And the rear tire is also flat. So I got to get a new tube and switch out the tube inside the tire. First I'm going to try to just pump it up and see what happens. But I have a feeling it needs a tube. But it's in really pretty good condition. The top end apparently has 10,000 hours on it, which isn't terrible. So it's a race bike, but the previous owner would use it for trail riding. So he wouldn't race it. He was never a big fan of racing. It's all original. And yeah, so we're gonna start by
Taking the carb off.
Well, first I want to just put new gas in it and see if it'll fire over. See what happens. Kick it over and see what happens. We got a fresh can, 2 gallons right here of 40-to-1 two-stroke mix. So we're gonna be putting that in the tank, and then we'll check for spark first, I think, and then we'll see if we can crank it up. All right, so we got all the old gas drained out. So now we're gonna pour in some new, and then see if it starts. See. It's nice.
Squeeze. Got some fuel in it.
Yeah.
There we go.
First time ever kicking a bike.
So much hate for doing that.
Ooh.
Choke now, maybe?
Maybe. Try it.
I'll leave the key in the car.
All right. Whoa! Oh!
Choke off, choke off.
It had life.
That is the magic kick. Ooh. That's just the nitrous put off.
Yeah.
Probably have to turn the idle up a smidge.
He said the car might need a little jetting or cleaning.
Probably cleaning.
Probably cleaning, yeah. But it runs.
Yeah. Now we're gonna give it a quick start. She's a two-smoker, all right.
Yeah, see, as soon as you turn the choke off and try to rev it, it bogs.
Yeah.
So, I think it might be running too rich, maybe. Like needs to go one leaner. Alrighty guys, we're working on the KTM some more today. As you saw last night, we got the fire up. Today we are going, I already put new O-rings in the master cylinder here and all new fluid and bled the brakes, and now we actually have brakes on the rear, so that's good. And I need to take 2 links out of the chain and retension the chain because it is too long and too much slack. I need to get the clutch lever figured out, which is what I'm working on now. It needs a return spring. It's missing the little spring that goes right in here. That little hole there. And then I have to take the carb off and clean out the carbs. That way we can try to make this thing run right. Because it only runs with the choke on currently. So we gotta do that. And then I might do an oil change. Drain the oil out and put new in. Alright, so I'm using a pen spring from like a pen you write with. Just like I found the stiffest clicking pen I could find, and then I took the spring out of it. So I'm going to give that a shot and see if that works. Because it's about the right size. It fit right in here perfectly. We won't be able to ride it until at least tomorrow because I have a new chain and rear sprocket coming, because this sprocket, the chain doesn't even stay on it. Like, it's so bad. It's so bad. So I got new chain and sprocket coming tomorrow. We also have a new engine sprocket coming. This one's not terrible, but the new one I have is 1 tooth smaller, and the sprocket I'm getting is 2 teeth bigger than this one. So it should be a little bit torquier, and so it'll wheelie a little bit easier and be able to start on hills and stuff, better for trail riding, not so much top end. And today we're gonna clean the carburetor out though, because it doesn't like to run without the choke on, so I'm gonna try to pull this carburetor out of here if I can, and yeah, try to clean it out and see if we can get it to run right. So let's get cracking on that. I also made a little triangle stand here, so that way the thing has a kickstand now, because it doesn't come with one because it's a race bike. But I already started it up today because I want to make sure it still runs, and it does, so that's good. And our brake still holds pressure, so that's also good. I have new bars coming, new brake lever, new clutch lever, and then the sprockets and chain. So after all these things show up, it should be pretty solid and it should run really good, hopefully, as long as we get it tuned right. A little plastic chain cover that's here, I had to just cut that off because this bolt is seized and stuck, so I couldn't get it to come off, because you can't put a wrench on it with that cover on, because the cover is supposed to hold the back of this, but when it's seized, the plastic's not strong enough to hold it, so it just kept spinning. So I'll have to get a new one of those for this thing, but now we might have enough room to be able to get the carburetor off. I'm gonna take that bolt off too. Alright, so I got the carb off, took all the hoses off. I'm gonna take it apart and clean it out really good. It's not terrible, but there is some oil residue in there and stuff. And the gas that came out here looked terrible because it was the old gas. So we'll clean it all out good, put it back together, and try it again. All right, just took the bowl off, and it is kind of nasty in there. Look at that sludge in there. Look at the pilot jet. completely gunked up. Float are still working, so that's good. So, alrighty, we'll start cleaning it. Look at how the color of the brake clean turned. Gray from all the nastiness in here. We're slowly cleaning these out. Gonna blow them all out with air as well. And then we'll probably wire brush the outside of the carburetor too, just to clean it up a little bit. Alright, so now we got the carburetor all cleaned out. Looking much better. You can see through all the passages again. You can see through everything. Look at that. So now we're gonna put it back together, reinstall it on the bike, and start it up again and see how it does. Alrighty, car's all back together. I was gonna try to reinstall this thing on the bike. It is not gonna be easy. Alright, we finally got the car back on here. It's not easy. It's looking nice and clean in there now. Alright, so we got a bunch of parts in. New rear sprocket, new chain, new bars, rear wheel bearing, rear seals, and a brake lever. Still waiting on the clutch lever and the front sprocket, but our front sprocket's still currently good. So I might not change it because I'm going to try that gear, and then if I want to change it after I try it, then I can. So for now, we're going to basically start by taking the rear wheel off and the chain and doing the bearings and the rear sprocket and the seals, and then we'll be able to put it back together and put the chain back on. So we'll do those first. And then I'm going to take the skid plate off so I can drain the oil and do an oil change on it. And then we'll start tackling the stuff on the bars. Alright, so I'm going to take the back wheel off and I'm going to break the chain. Sorry about the noise you hear. We have that fan on today. It's just so freaking hot here. It's like 104 out today. It's ridiculous. So if you hear noise in the background, it's the fan. But we're going to remove the chain and then the rear wheel. So let's just start with that. So the first thing you got to do is find the master link. Right there. And then get some needle nose pliers and pop it off. Oh boy. It's a tough one. Popped it. Take the chain off. Oh man, it's bad. Oh, it's so bad. Pull it out of here. Sweet. Alright. So this front sprocket here, I'm just going to take this off and clean it for now, because it's still in decent condition. It's not really that worn out like the rear one is. So I'm just gonna clean it and run that. So you're gonna need some snap ring pliers here to be able to remove this. Put a little snap ring in here, open it up, pull it off, and you pull your sprocket right off. Beautiful. So I'm gonna clean both of these up. Got the sprocket cleaned up now. I'm gonna reinstall this. Just like that, and the snap ring back on. So I already took the nut off the axle, so it should hopefully push right out. Beautiful. And the wheel can come right out too. Sweet. Easy as that. Just pull the old sprocket off. This is going in the trash. Here's the nut. So here's the new sprocket. I'm not going to install it yet because I want to do the bearings first and seals first. So we're going to knock out these old the columns here, the spacers. And then we'll be able to take out the seals and then the bearings. knocking it out slowly. It's not easy. We're getting it. There we go. There's one out. Look at that. Clean that guy up, definitely. We gotta reinstall that. Here's our seal now. And our bearings right in here. It doesn't feel too bad, but they play, so they're shot. I gotta knock out the other side. Oh man, it took the whole bearing out with it. Huh. That's not good. Bearing, seal, spacer. Huh. That wasn't supposed to happen. Well, gotta head out of here now somehow. Alrighty, so I welded the bearing to this plate because the spacer here is stuck in the bearing, and the bearing came out of the wheel. So now the bearing can't go anywhere, and I can hit it in the vise to knock the spacer out. Alright, we knocked them both out. The trick with the plate worked beautifully. So now I'm gonna take out the other bearing and seal over here. Seals that come out first, and then there's a snap ring in there you have to remove to get that bearing out. Alright, you just pulled the seal out, and it is nasty in there. Look at all the gunk and dirt just built up in here from all the years. That's bad. Clean that out. There's a snap ring right there. Here it is. There are 2 holes, so we'll pull that out next. Alright, so I'm hitting the bearing out now. It's going back and forth with a big flathead on the outer edges of the bearing. So eventually, it'll pop. We got it out and cleaned up. We got our new bearing here. We got it greased in there, so the new bearing will slide in nicely. And I'm gonna heat around this, that way the new bearing will tap in nicely. And then I'm gonna use the old bearing to as a spacer to tap it in. Alrighty, got the bearing tapped all the way in past the snap ring grooves. Now we're gonna reinstall our snap ring, and then we can put our seal in. Alrighty, we've got the snap ring in. So now we'll get our new seals right here, and you want to install these open side in, so it's gonna go in like this. So you can just take that and just push that right in, but I'm gonna grease it up first, that way it slides in nice and seals up good. Alrighty, we got one wheel bearing done. It's mint. Now I just gotta wire brush the spacer, then install those, and then it'll be sweet. To the other side, we can put our new sprocket on, and our rear wheel is done. Put it back on the bike. Now we're gonna install our new sprocket. It's an aluminum billet sprocket that's hardened. So this is going to go on. Oh yeah, it lines up beautifully. Perfect. Now there are bolts. Drop all 4 of them in. Boom. Look at that. That looks sweet. Alright, so we got the back wheel on. Nothing's tightened down or anything. We're going to loosen both tensioners on both sides so we can put the wheel as far in as we can, and then put our new chain on and hope it reaches. Oh yes, it reaches. Thank the Lord it does. Wonderful. So we'll cut it right here and put it together. Yes, that's good. Alrighty, got the rear wheel and the chain and everything all on. Chain's tensioned properly. Spins beautifully. No more shake. It's coming out nice. Sprocket and chain look good. I gotta get a new cover for right there. but I gotta order that. So now, next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the skid plate off and drain out the oil and add new oil to it. I got the skid plate off. I put it in the bucket right there to get washed. So now I am going to take the drain bowl out right here, that guy, and let the oil drain out. And then we'll add new into it. The oil that came out of it was pretty black. So brown, I guess, if you will. Just leaning it to drain the rest of it out. Make sure we get all that nastiness out of there. And then we'll fill it up with some new. It's 800 milliliters. Alright, so we just got the skid plate back on, new oil put in it. So now the bottom end's ready to go. Chain's ready to go, rear wheel's ready to go. We just gotta do the bars and the brake lever now. So we're gonna do those and we'll be able to take it for a rip and see how it runs with the carb clean and everything. See if it runs good. Removing the rest of the stuff from the bars, getting the brakes off. Throttle's loose now. I have to loosen these guys, take these guys off so I can pick the bars up. To move the bars all the way to the left so I can slide the throttle off, and move the bars all the way to the right so I can slide these guys off. And then we can slide the new bars in and bolt them down. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera. Look how bent back the right side of the bars are. That's what it should look like. That's what it does. Here on the table you can really see it. See how much of an angle they're sitting at? Look at that. It's not even hitting the table at all over here. Yeah, that's bad. So now we can install our new bars here. Now we got everything off. Wipe it all down, get the dirt out of there, and put it back together. So I got the bars on. I gotta straighten out the brake lever because the new one I ordered doesn't fit. It's the wrong design down here. So it needs to have this on it. So I'm just gonna try to heat this one up and straighten it because look how bent that is. And then we'll rock this one so I can find one that fits. And then we gotta put the bass guards on. And I gotta bleed the clutch and the front brake still. But I need to get mineral oil for the clutch because it doesn't use brake fluid. So I gotta go figure out where I can buy some of that. I just heated it with this torch for like 2 minutes and smacked with the hammer. Now it's much straighter than it was. That's good. Alright, so we got everything done on the KTM. Bearings, chain, sprocket, seals, bars. Someone's knocked over my dad's bike. Brake lever. Yeah, everything's looking good. Filled up with some new gas, cleaned the carburetor out. So now I'm gonna wait for Russell to get here and then we'll start it up and give it a rip and see how it does. This will be my first two-stroke I've ever ridden, like official two-stroke, because I don't count the pedal bike two-stroke as a real two-stroke. Like it's a real two-stroke, but it's nothing like this.
All right, so we're gonna give the KTM a rip.
Yeah, gonna try to start it up, see how it runs with the carb clean and everything. See what it can do.
First kick.
First kick. Let's go.
And off he goes.
Oh, stalled it.
entered the road. And he is not holding back. That thing is loud. That is really, really loud.
It's really, really fast.
Yes it is.
Alright, we're gonna ride the KTM some more today. We did the oil, and they redid the exhaust a little bit because it was smoking. They didn't have it set up right. Tensioned the chain a little more. Yeah. So now we're gonna ride around some more.
You have your fuel on?
Yeah, I adjusted the carburetor a little bit too, the air fuel, so we'll see if it runs a little better because it was bogging a little bit. First kick. Put your kickstart in. Yeah. You can't. That's not how two-strokes work. You're gonna foul the plug if you do that. Might still be bogging a little bit, I think. Might need to adjust the needle. Make it one richer. This is why he shouldn't be wearing boots. He doesn't even know what he's doing with the shifter. Is it pouring oil yet?
I haven't really.
No, not bad.
Enough for it to rip.
Yeah, yeah.
This thing has like no room here.
I know, it's got some beans, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's fast. You think you can wheelie it?
Accidentally.
He said accidentally. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna go back down 2 teeth on the back sprocket, I think, because it doesn't need this much torque. I'd rather have more top speed.
So trying on the road any? Oh, do you want to try at the mill any?
We can.
I don't know if there's
the road's kind of sketchy because the front tire is so unbalanced. Anything over like 4th or 5th gear, the front wheel starts to bounce like a basketball. That's why I noticed on the way to and from the storage lock, you have to keep it slow or else because so many knobbies are missing. Just look at this. Look at all the knobbies that are torn off this. It makes the front wheel super unbalanced, so it shakes really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It needs a new front tire.
It needs a new front tire really badly. Yeah. Because it weighs more on like certain sides than others. So when you get going fast enough, your front wheel feels it. Like the front of the bike starts to feel it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, bro's flying.
The two-stroke is not for your average traffic.
Alrighty, so before I end this video, I'm going to do a little bit more work to the KTM and then maybe post a couple more clips of us riding it. I got the seal kit it's been needing. And we got new clutch lever as well. So we just installed this bad boy. Working beautifully. Looks nice. So I got to take the rear chain off and that front engine sprocket and replace it, the bushing and the seal and the O-ring in there. So we're going to do that now. And then I'm going to take the carburetor off again, I think, and take the airbox out so I can clean the airbox. Because there's a bunch of dirt and leaves in it, and I think the engine keeps sucking that in. So that's not good. So we're going to do that as well. So I'll probably have to remove this seat and then the rear subframe probably, and then we'll bolt it back together.
Get a new one.
You could buy a new subframe. Our subframe here, I noticed, is cracked at the bolts here, top one on both sides.
Oh,
See it?
So
I'm probably gonna unbolt it when I do the airbox and take it to my shop tomorrow so I can TIG weld it back together. Alrighty, so I drained out the oil, looking pretty brown. So good thing I drained that out. Now I got the sprocket and the snap ring off. So what we're gonna do first is pull this bearing spacer, or like spacer out. This one's shot. There's literal grooves in this one for where the O-rings ride and stuff. This is partly why it leaks so bad. Our kit comes with a new one here, thankfully. So that's good. And then we also got the O-ring here, which just came out with it. Which that shouldn't be doing that. That's a bad thing. That's how you know this is shot. It feels really shot. It's got tears in it. Chunks taken out. And then the last thing I remove is this guy here, this little ring right here. It's a seal that we gotta remove. There's a new seal then too. So that's the hardest part, is removing that seal and getting the new one back in. Alright, so I finally got the seals out. That was not easy, but we did it. So now I'm gonna install the new O-ring and then we'll put the outer seal in. Then a new spacer, and then we can put the sprocket back on with the snap ring and the job's done. Put some oil in it, give it a try. Alright, you got the new seal in, new O-ring and new spacer. So now all we do is you grab your sprocket here, line it up on our shaft here. Oh, that is unfortunate. I just dropped it in the dirty oil. Oh man, it only lines up one way. Like there's one bigger tooth, you gotta find it. All right, so I was looking at the oil and I was like, this looks like it's way too much oil for one of these engines, you know? So I was like, all right, I better look it up and look at the OEM manual and see what it says it takes. Because I watched a YouTube video last time. My mistake for doing that, because the dude told me 1.6 quarts. 3 times what it's supposed to have in here. So I put 1.6 quarts in this thing, and I thought it was supposed to be 10W40 wet clutch oil. No, it's supposed to be 1550 wet clutch oil. So we're gonna go to AutoZone and get 1 quart of 1550 wet clutch oil to put in this thing, because we only need half a quart actually. So it's a good thing we got it all out of there and didn't run it too long with all that in there. But it did a good job of cleaning out all the dirt and debris and old oil that was in there and sitting in there for years when this thing was sitting. So now we'll put some clean oil in there now that we got the seal done. And it should be a lot better and a lot happier. All right, so I removed the air filter seat and the whole rear subframe, because I'm gonna pull the car back off to re-clean it again, just to make sure I get all of it. And look inside this air box. Look at how bad this is. I'm gonna clean out the whole inside this air box, make it look way better, because it is rough. And then we'll put it all back together and try it again. Alrighty, so now we got the KTM all back together. Everything's all looking fresh. Looks good. I'm gonna start it up and give it a try again and see how it runs, see if it bogs. Hopefully it doesn't. thing runs so good, but it is bogging like the tiniest little bit. I don't know, maybe that's just 2 strokes. Like maybe I was just too low in RPM. I wasn't close enough to the power band, but it feels to me like it bogs a tiny little bit. So I turned the air screw in a little bit to make it a tiny bit richer to see if that helps. If not, maybe I'll try turning it out a little bit to see if that helps. But this thing flies. It is so much fun. Now I just gotta get more used to it so I can practice wheeling this thing, because I gotta get comfortable on it more before I try to wheelie it. I do want to try jumping it too. All right, well, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this video. The KTM absolutely rips. I'm going to be going back down 2 teeth on the rear sprocket because it doesn't need all that torque. It already makes plenty of torque. So I'm gonna replace that with a new one, and I'm gonna be getting a new front tire still for it. But stay tuned for the next video of this thing. We'll be taking it out to the mountains, and we're actually gonna rip it. So stay tuned for that, because that's gonna be an awesome video. We're gonna have all the boys together, all gonna be ripping out in the trails and up in the mountains. So that'll be a blast. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in the next one.